Attempting to get a cat's attention can often be rather hit or miss. This is even true if the cat in question is yours. Because cats are very independent and often quite preoccupied, getting them to pay attention and respond to your verbal cues can be quite the challenge at times. But what about this? Psst. And don't ask me to do that again, even though I probably will about 10 more times. You know the sound, quite possibly the most stereotypical high pitched noise that when all else fails, you can pull it from your bag of tricks to get a cat's attention. But why? Why that sound? That's today's topic. Why is so difficult for cats to resist? And yes, I made that sound again. It's a big problem. Interesting topic, interesting sound effects. I've got you covered. Stay tuned. Getting right down to business. In short, that sound lives in a high frequency, a higher register than simply basic verbal communication and saying your cat's name. While there isn't exactly an endless supply of information behind it, the response is certainly a curious case. The sound is different, something that a cat is probably not used to hearing from a person. Another factor, and this could be the most important, and that's the thought that mimics the sound that cats likely hear from prey when they're in the midst of stalking and hunting. That sound, well, it doesn't quite sound like a mouse, for example, but it's in the ballpark. A bird? No, but here again, it's in the ballpark. Cats likely perk up at the sound when people make it because there's a chance that some type of prey could be just right around the corner. Yeah, it gets a response because it's not a word at all. It's a sound that can prompt an instinctual response, meaning that some cats likely couldn't ignore it if they tried, especially when delivered in the proper frequency. Because cats are both predator and prey, they're also more keen to noises than the standard words that we use to communicate. Words are mostly meaningless in the feline world because other cats, well, they don't quite speak our language. Cats will never actually overhear another cat, or let's just say like a possum or something, speaking English and making plans for the day. And that's a cue to run away. No, however, that could be something of importance. Predator, prey, something worthy of a cat's attention, especially in the wild. When it comes to the response itself, it can vary. If you deliver this sound, there's a chance it's because you need your cat to be attentive. You're attempting to tell your cat something. Hey, come over here. It's mealtime. Hey, it's time for a grooming session. This sound is designed for attention because something, at least by your standards, it's very important. However, when your cat hears the sound, it could be a mixed bag. It's critical to understand that cats, they pretty much hear everything, and just because your cat isn't budging, refusing to move a muscle, it's not because they didn't hear you, it's because they just don't care. So, just because your cat has a visible reaction to this sound doesn't mean they'll respond the way you want them to. So much depends on your cat's personality, their relationship with you, and if you've conditioned them to respond to that sound at all. Is that the go-to sound, or have you just recently dusted it off and started to use it? The factors involved, they can be about as interesting as the silly sound itself. Some cats could even respond in fear to the sound, because believe it or not, while is quite common and understood in our world, not every cat is born hearing it. If you deliver the sound, your cat could think something is wrong. Perhaps something's wrong with you. Most cats will respond in curious fashion, however, perk up and be somewhat attentive. But here again, so much depends on your cat's personality, their relationship to you, and how long you've been using the sound. If you are using this sound, you've obviously are looking for some sort of response followed by an action. Nothing more, nothing less. You want your cat's attention. If your cat hears the and gives you a meow and a deep stare with those ears forward, that means that you have their attention. So what exactly is the flip side to all of this? I've talked about the why, the various responses that cats could give, and why they may not even care at all. But the response that you're looking for, we've talked about it, but what if absolutely none of this works? What if your cat will just not respond, not move, not even pay attention? To answer that question, I'll go back to something I noted earlier, your cat's personality, how long they've known you, and probably the most important thing, how long have you used this type of sound? If your cat just doesn't respond at all, there's a respectable chance that they're just not used to hearing it from you. If they relate to it, the mouse example from earlier, even if everything is there, Your cat could simply ignore it because it just seems unnatural in the home environment. If your cat fails to respond, don't worry about it. All that really means is that the sound doesn't resonate. There's no sense of intrigue or urgency. My advice would be to come up with something new. In all honesty, I don't use the psps. I could explain why I can hardly say it in this video. I use that clicking sound more times than not. You know, that knocking on the door type sound you can make with your tongue. It just seems to get my cat's attention, but everybody's different. Before I close things out for this material, and some odd material it is, I must say I'd like to note that sounds, sometimes they're simply just not needed. If your cat responds to their very own name without issue, and how about this one, responds to natural sounds within the home, if they do that, making sounds of your own, it really isn't necessary. Example, does your cat respond to the sound of cat treats in the container? If they already do that, well, that's all the sound effects you really need, right? I think it's safe to make the assumption and to suggest that any type of and sounds that are similar are more times used to get the attention of a stray cat, the name unknown felines of the world. Here, kitty, kitty. That little bit is probably as old as time itself. A cat you don't know? Well, it's here, kitty, kitty. Of course, the cat looks back and thinks, what a weird person, right? At any rate, a bit of a different topic this time around, and sometimes it's all about the silly and the fun here at Senior Cat Wellness. You just can't avoid it, and why should you? And to the audience, is it sound effects time for you? Does your cat respond to the psps, or do you use something else? Or hey, are the sound effects just mere child's play in your home? Did you ditch the noise making a long time ago? How does your cat respond to you? Has there ever been an evolution? Has time moved along where you don't have to use the sounds anymore? You just call your cat by its name and they know what time it is. If you have a story to share in the comments section, as always, it's all yours. And if you enjoyed this content, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you as a member of the Senior Cat Wellness family, and thank goodness I'm all out of sound effects. Until next time, thank you so very much for watching, and I will talk to you later.